Alright, so today's video we're going to be watching a Contender 1 D.Va on PC. And they say here, I humbly present to you an actual functioning D.Va Stomp build. Disclaimer, the Stomp isn't the main source of the damage, but it does help a lot. Okay, I'm curious because obviously D.Va's in an interesting spot in Stadium. We had a recent interview with Aaron, which if you haven't watched, by the way, it's on my second channel. It's worth the watch. It's a good watch, good interview, fun interview, all about Stadium. Believe it or not, D.Va has the highest win rate on console. Not the same on PC. So it's interesting, and maybe that's why there hasn't been many D.Va changes. The point I'm making is D.Va's been going kind of through this like ups and downs of this, and they recently nerfed the baby D.Va build. So it says, first, you want to grab yourself the Mecha Punch Power. That 75% increase is very noticeable and is an interaction that's not very clear to me if it's intended or not. If you punch someone in your boosters and then they die within a very small time window via any other source, you'll still get your boosters back. It happened to me a lot in times in this game, so stay sharp for those ones. Then, you go either full ability power or full survival. The Stomp scales with both AP and max armor, so if you feel like you're exploding, which surprisingly isn't that much of a problem due to a certain purple item that gives you 5% of your max health back when you melee, you can go that route. But that booster hit won't benefit from it. This works surprisingly well. The burst you end up having is insane. Being able to 2 melee kill non-tank heroes so they don't grab a decent amount of survival items, and you can even see me burst in the who? They just said JK. Decently well. Are they joking? Like, is that Junker Queen? Anyway, I hope you actually enjoy a usable D.Va build that isn't the mega baby D.Va. Well, that build's done, the baby D.Va build, but I'm curious now. So let's see. Again, in this one, you can check out builds. So to start off, it looks like D.Va takes Mecha Punch while using boosters, quick melee, deals 75% more damage. Mecha Punch eliminations reset the cooldown, and then you get Armored Vest, ability power, and attack speed. Although I'm surprised you didn't get the melee one. There's a melee one, too, that could be beneficial, but we'll see. A little bit of early DM here. I'm very curious to see where this build ends up at. Because, like, I could try this melee build out if it ends up being fun. So when this actually works, you get a booster reset, so you have a lot of mobility. That's kind of interesting. I don't know how it would work, but, like, I'm curious to see what I try it. You know, got the point. I can see you going for that playstyle too. It's very melee heavy. The thing is technically if it scales with ability power too on like the other part of the ability, like not the melee but like the other part that you talk about, I wonder if that would also mean you could have very strong missiles regardless, even if you don't go into full missiles. It's actually an interesting concept. Nice remake. That was huge. Holy crap, that was a lot of kills. Good job. I love how you're constantly just flying at them for the melee. Yeah, that was a huge play. Excuse me. No, this is not me. This is a melee build. We're going to try it after, though. I think that's... Sometimes when we get to like watch Spectating, I like to go try builds because it's just fun. I actually like just enjoy trying builds. Seems like people on YouTube enjoy watching me try builds too because it's just fun. It's just, I don't know. Try builds, see if it works, see what's better, what you can make about it, see if it's good, bad, see if I learn a thing or two. I like it. This melee build is something that I'd have to try. Man. Okay, I think this is a good thing. I have a little bit of advice for you on this one. Because I think at times you're... Okay, a little bit of advice here. And with Stadium, I haven't been given as much advice. I like the idea of what your build does. But to me, it feels like you're almost taking out like your whole kit just to melee. I think you should have the melee be in addition to how you play. So go for a lot of these early kills and then finish with the melee rather than try to fly around and just melee. Now, obviously, if it scales as you climb, you change that up. But in the first round, it feels like... Unless you get that green perk that helps with melee, it almost feels like you're not really doing a ton of damage to them. You're just kind of meleeing them. Don't be afraid to ult that, like, without flying into their team. Over the top, there's such a good ult location. I mean, this will be fine, but, you know. There you go. Team gets the first round, probably. So there you go. You get the first round. Now, again, I wouldn't necessarily account that to the build, but that's a lot of first rounds, too. So you got Gloom Gauntlet. This is good. In my opinion, Gloom Gauntlet's a good addition. For anybody wondering what that is, it gives you 15% melee damage. You get 50 armor, which is great. And damage grants 10% movement speed and restores 5% of max life over 2 seconds. Keep in mind, the damage is melee damage. So this is going to build into that. And it looks like you just added a couple more of the green items, which is totally fine. So I'm fine with this build so far. Yeah, you need to hit them with one melee, not finish them with a melee. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even saying that you need to go and kill. Like, what I'm saying, by the way, is not that, like, not to melee them because you get the credit. It's more like they're flying in, not even doing damage and meleeing them. When in reality, they could do damage, melee them, and then if your teammates finish the kill still, it's a lot better than going in, doing one melee, and then flying out, right? So, like you can use some of your kit prior, is what I'm saying. Yep. Like, do you see what I'm talking about? How, like, you could have thrown a couple rockets into the queen there, maybe pressure out the HP a little bit. Things like that. I feel like you're not using your kit as much. There you go. Now you use it, the Genji's low, and then now you can start going into melee mode, right? It's interesting. I'll try it for fun. It looks like it could be a good one. Like a fun one. I don't know, like, I have to see how it scales, but, I mean, hey, it's working for you right now, right? So... You can kind of see the effectiveness of the melee. It just, I think it would be even more effective if, like, you just, like, use your abilities a little bit more. And that's fine. It's good, though. Because, like, I think there's some promise with this build, and I think you're actually able to get more out of it, which is a good sign. I do like that booster reset. That booster reset's kind of interesting. You know, I never really looked at it that way with some of the D.Va builds. I don't know if it would help with the overall problem that I run into with D.Va, which is where it just, like, at times you're not as tanky enough, right? Like, everything else kind of outscales you as time goes on, but it is intriguing. Like, it won't be as good, but it might be effective because of that melee. Yep. I do like the reset, though, on the melee. It's kind of cool. And you get a little bit of that extra survivability. I'm just saying, like, think about it. If the ability power of the baby D.Va item is pretty high, which I think it's like 20%, and you get nano for 4 seconds on a stacked melee build, I think there's a world where you could go a baby D.Va version of what we saw before. And I don't think it'll be as good, but I think it can be effective. Nice D.Va ult. Because like right now what I'm seeing is like, you do a decent amount of melee damage, right? And it hasn't even scaled yet. Like you're at a point where like, this is early game. So it's still pretty good. But yeah, not bad there. That's 2 rounds for D.Va. That's 2 more than I usually get. So, you know what I'm saying? Your second item you got was Tokki Slam. I love that I'm just hearing the sound the whole time. Who's playing the song? I don't... Oh, Lucio. All right, well, let's go look at the build. This music's just odd. So it looks like you added the slam, which you did mention was a part of it. You got the fusion drive when you use an ability to restore 50 armor or shield. That's great, because that's ability power and combos with Gloom Gauntlet, and you grabbed energy bracers and you kept your power playbook. So you have armor and ability power. So you're definitely building this correctly right now. Good job. Okay, so this point would be difficult for D.Va, by the way. This is not D.Va's easiest point. So I'm curious to see what happens here. So Tokki Slam's interesting because like it's kind of almost unexpected. The problem I ran into with the Slam build is that people were just paying attention to it a lot of the time. Like it was like, but I made it the build, right? And I think what you did a good job of is you mentioned that the build isn't revolved around it. It's just like an addition to your build. You're not making it a main part of it. You're making it an option. And that might make it very intriguing, right? Because I will admit, I haven't gone this deep into this part of D.Va builds. Because like I got so I was so enticed to like missile builds and like, you know, baby D.Va builds that maybe there's a world here where this can work, right? Where this is a fun like style. Again, the problem I find with D.Va is that it's not really about finding a build that could work. It's that the other builds in the game are like better. Does that make sense? Like, let me give you an example here. Like a Junker Queen bleed build is probably really strong, and if I did a tier list, like if you had to do a tier list of just builds, and maybe there's a world eventually when we get like into like more of like, you can import like maybe a season 17. We can start doing more like, we can like do builds, like can come up with names and things like that. But the point I'm making here is that I don't know if there's an S tier D.Va build yet. We could do like an S tier Junker Queen build and like an S tier Zarya build, but I don't know if D.Va has that yet. But maybe this is one of them. Maybe this is in the right direction, because that's how you discover builds. Like there's gonna be things in Stadium that like are going to be so obvious as great picks later on that we don't even know yet. Like, we're going to be like, holy crap, like, this could have been the build the whole time. That's the cool part. It's only going to change as they keep doing more powers and stuff. So. Yeah. D.Va should be in a location, that's for sure. That's all I can really go with there. You're doing a good job surviving in the middle. It's weird because they're not really targeting you that much. But I think that's also just kind of like where D.Va's at right now in Stadium, where like you don't get targeted as much because it's just like, yeah, it's D.Va. I think they should build the roster or rotate. I mean, they already talked about it. They're gonna add more heroes. I mean, and the goal is to get every hero in Stadium. Yep. Like I said, we talked about that with Aaron in the interview. If you haven't seen it yet, it's good. Good interview. Obviously, no bias. Right? I was the one who was in it, but still, great interview. Yeah, no bias at all. I think, okay, I want to know why they've just, like, completely ignored you. Like, I understand that D.Va's not, like, the strongest in this mode, at least, like, once again, on console, D.Va's apparently dominated, right? But, like, they're just leaving you there. Have I tried the Zarya AoE bubble build? It's pretty crazy. I think you could say the words, have you tried the Zarya build? It's crazy, and that could be any build with Zarya. I just feel like Zarya's good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like a... But no, I've seen people use it, though. It's frustrating to play against. I've seen it. Good job on first. This was a very long first point, I gotta say. Holy crap. Chat, they're just now capping the point. How far in are we? We're at 5 minutes in. So this was essentially a 3-minute plus fight for middle. I feel like that was forever. The only problem I see with the melee HP back is like, like, I don't know, maybe like if you get multiple in front of you. Does this other team realize that? Does the team realize that the next point's where you have to go? Okay, the Lucio does now. I was gonna say, I feel like the only person who got the memo there for a second was the Lucio. It was definitely worth going in though. That was a good job by team. Don't ult this. Ooh, nice slam. Don't ult this stuff. You want to save it for middle so you can get nobody with it. Did you hope they optimize the stadium stuff one day with that? Oh yeah, I'm sure they will. Nice play. Never mind. Good play. I forget. It's, you know what? Like, part of me is like the core Overwatch part of me. Like, when I say core is like, the game we've played for years is like save your ult there. But like the stadium part, I think I need to open up the mindset of like it's chaotic. You can get away with winning more stuff now, especially when you have such more you have more survivability, damage output, etc. Like, good play. The slam's funny. It's definitely something I'm not used to, but I'm curious to see what happens when I have it as an option, not the main part of the build. Because it is a decent idea of like you don't build around it, but you have it as an option, right? Dude, these have been some long team fights in middle. Holy crap. Kind of the mecha. I mean, hey, if it makes you feel any better, that still happens in any rank. All right, I would try to get out of here or get a kill, and the reason why I say that, oh, okay, I kind of see it on, I kind of see the melee aspect of it on their backline. I can see it here. Yeah, it's very good. One thing's for sure, you don't want to sit on the queen the whole time with it, right? Which, it's interesting because you can get away with that more now. But yeah. Well, I mean, I can look at their healing. D.Va has, what, almost 2,000 healing for melee? That's pretty good. Yeah, you can see scoreboard in Stadium, by the way, chat. See? I can see their score and like everything. It's cool. I wish they had that in regular too. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if the healing is like over 2,000 from just meleeing, maybe it's worth it. And like with how my D.Va movement is, I might be able to make it work. I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna make it work when I try this build after this, but it's interesting. It's interesting. You added Champions Kit. Classic, it's just 40% ability power. Ability power is strong. You're at 65% ability power. You converted your HP to armor, which is going to affect the Tokki Slam, so that's a really good addition. Cyber Venom, which deals ability damage, applies 30% healing reduction with ability power. I mean, so far, this is a solid build. I mean, you got more armor than HP. You have 1,024 HP going into round 4, 65% ability power. I mean, that's a pretty solid build. For what you're going for, it's definitely solid. You should have a little bit more tankiness. What build have I done? I found one build that's kind of like a tanky missile build, but I find it for it to be okay. So I'm going to try this build out, which somebody made, which is more like a melee D.Va build with the ability to slam sometimes. So I want to try this one out too and see how it feels. I just love trying out builds. I think it's such a fun aspect right now of Stadium. Like you get the resets. This one seems like this is almost like, the best way to describe this build is dash reset. This is like the D.Va dash reset build.
Topping as a birthday present to myself.
Grim, thanks for the 13 months of the tier 1. Thank you. Happy birthday. I hope you have an awesome one. Seriously. Happy birthday. Using the third person here. I see what you're doing. You're not bad at all. Yeah. Going in, you're looking for melee targets. So basically, as long as you can find melee targets, your teammates get kills, you're going to be vibing. You keep getting resets, right? When you melee someone. Obviously, you have to melee somebody, but if you have the movement, you can make it work, right? Heck yeah. Still a... Make sure to DM this, too, by the way. You lost a couple of your teammates. You have defense matrix. just remember that. I forget it sometimes, too. Don't worry. I don't know if that D.Va all went out of the map or stayed there, but I respect it. We do clutch, but they're a little bit more rare. Because, like, obviously, like, you can only watch so many of them, you know what I mean? Not bad? Yeah, this build's interesting. I want to try this out. So really good job there, right? Just remember, just a little bit of a note. Remember, you can use your defense matrix and use your abilities a bit more with that build. I think that would help the build even more. But I'm going to try that build, but I'm also going to add the Nano D.Va to it to see how that feels. But I'm intrigued. All right, we're going to try it, okay? We're going to go the D.Va melee build. Okay, so we start off with Mecha Punch. And then we go armor, which is normal. Then I'm going to try something a little bit different, okay? I'm going to add the Win and Attitude one, which is going to get away a little... No, not Win and Attitude. I meant the Siphon Gloves. Because if my idea is to melee, right, why not add the melee there? So that's the one difference I did there was, yeah, I lose a little bit of, like, damage, but I gain more out of my melees. Against Zarya and Mei, I know. There's nothing I can do about that, but hey, if there's, like... Hey, you know what, though? At the same time, the idea is to create a build that can work against what's going to be tough to begin with, right? You feel like it doesn't scale well with it. Yeah, but I'm thinking more overall to see, like, to get used to what I'm trying to aim for, right? So, one second. There we go. There a second. The wall's here. Some of them are taking damage. Gotta get out. Run away. Good start. Okay, it's interesting, because, like, I'm staying alive a little bit on that. The idea there's just a force auto cooldown. I've done 2,000 damage, by the way, chat. Keep in mind, Zarya is always going to out-damage me, unless, like, you know, I'm playing it, like, perfect. I got both. That's a rare one, chat. I ate a Mei ult. I ate Mei and Zarya ult in the matter of like a second there. Good start. So keep in mind, I mainly did melee damage there, and I did 3,100 damage. Keep in mind, obviously, I did some rockets and things like that. I can see early game where that goes. But finding an early game build for D.Va is never the issue, in my opinion. Do I have enough for Gloom Gauntlet? I do. I mean, I have just enough for Gloom Gauntlet, and I get to keep my melee one. So now I get the 15% melee damage, and then I get a little bit more value from that. So again, want to be a little bit more involved in the team fight early. Couple of them are low. Jump. Good job. Sorry, in front. Where did that? Where? Got him. I mean, that melee damage is pretty good. I mean, look how much damage I'm doing, and I'm just flying into them in melee. And I have a little bit of survivability. Keep on, I'm going against Zarya Mei right now. Now, granted, obviously this is like small sample size, but pretty interesting so far. Now I grab the slam with it, which is what they had, Tokki slam. At this point, I remember they went and converted their armor to, I mean, this would make sense, convert 100 health to armor, give me more armor. And then I don't have enough to build into the next one here because I do want to keep this Siphon Gloves for now. So add Power Playbook for the extra ability power. I don't know. This is interesting. Survival, ability, lifesteal. Probably just ability, lifesteal kind of adds a little bit more to my HP, and then we're good. This is where I get concerned. When Zarya starts to get more and more, that's when it's like, okay, wait a second. Back away. Yeah, we're doing the melee one right now. Yep. Is there one that extends my flight cooldown timer? Because that would make this even better. I don't know if that went as planned, but I think you saw what I was trying to do, right? There you go, got the kill. Mercy's low. Ate the mail. I mean, that seems pretty good. Okay, get rid of the ability lifesteal. Yes, this one, the fusion driver. When you use an ability, you restore 50 armor or shields, and you get ability power. Okay, yeah, so I'm on the right track right now. The only thing I would need now is Champion's Kit, but like, yeah. Oh, I hit the wrong button, chat. That was bad. That was just a misplay. No ice block? I don't know what that Zarya's thought process was right there, but... Good job. This actually is a pretty good build. Backing away. Gonna health back. Get out. There's the reset. Wait a second. Is there a... Did someone see... Why am I getting a reset there? Is that because of the Zarya bubble? Like if I melee the Zarya bubble? Are you seeing that too? Or like, what was that? They called me a nerd? Oh no. Wow. All right, wow, that was a surprisingly decent build. So like, watch. When I'm flying in, I'm meleeing, right? But then it's back up again. So was it when the Zarya bubble got killed? Maybe early game I can see if we kill the Zarya bubble when I get credit. Yep, I got it again. So when the Zarya bubble dies, you get a reset. I wonder if that's happening for Queen too. You know how Queen has the reset on eliminations? I wonder if that's causing that too. That's weird. That was fun. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to my 2 YouTubes if you haven't yet. Leave a comment. Also, if you have a build that maybe I haven't tried or we haven't watched yet, let us know. Submit it on my Discord. I'm always looking for more builds. If you want to watch more of our Stadium gameplay or Spectatings, any of that, look at the little box right here. There's a little video. You watch it. It's a good video. Hope you have an amazing day / night.